welcome everybody to this info session about the UBC Micro Certificate in Healthcare Accounting. My name is Nick Bansback. I'm a professor in the School of Population and Public Health that is producing this micro certificate alongside Extended Learning in UBC. Before we start, I just want to acknowledge that UBC is on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Coast Salish people, in particular the Musqueam. And I think just thinking through the broader aspects of our healthcare system, even aspects of accounting are important in terms of thinking through reconciliation. So let me begin by just providing a little bit of history to this micro certificate. We're going to go through very briefly what the micro certificate is about and who is it for, and then we're going to have a little bit of time for questions at the end. But my role is actually the director of a program called the Master of Health Administration program. That's a 2-year professional program that's run at UBC for people in healthcare system looking to go into middle management or looking to equip themselves in skills within middle management. And when we listen to our partners in the healthcare system about how we can most helpfully utilize the program for learning in the healthcare system, it was recognized that courses that we have in the MHA on accounting and finance were courses that people most wanted to be able to access without doing the whole MHA program. So this began us in developing this micro certificate, which really has focused on existing courses within the MHA and enhanced them, but it's done it in a slightly different way. It's been developed as a flexible online platform so that people can do this at your own pace, recognizing that the kind of people we're thinking will benefit most from this micro certificate are going to be busy, and this allows them to fit it into their busy schedules. And so while there's going to be a lot of the micro certificate done online, self-paced, there are going to be 2 synchronous sessions where you can ask further questions about some of the modules that you've been doing on your own, but that will also be a time for you to get to know some other people who are doing the micro certificate and have some synchronous instruction from our instructor. And I think one last thing just to sort of to say is we've really been quite specific and focused on who this is for, and it's designed really for sort of non-accountants who are now having to sort of think through and have to take on roles in finance and accounting in the healthcare system, but it's predominantly focused on the public healthcare system in Canada. So that's what we're really trying to target with this micro certificate. So with that background, I'm going to hand over to the other Nick, who is our lead instructor on this program, and I'm going to let Nick introduce himself and tell us a little bit more about the program.
Thanks, Nick. And thanks, everyone. I see we got 23 participants and maybe some more coming, so thank you all for joining today. I'm Nick Schnee. I'm the Executive Director for Cardiac Services, Stroke Services, and Provincial Specialized Programs, but also had the privilege to be an adjunct professor with the Masters of Health Administration program that Nick just spoke to, where I help lead a course that looks at finance and decision making. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to present this course. I think, as Nick said, it's one that many of my staff in the past, it's been a spot where they've said, I need to learn more about this, especially working with clinical folks. I bring a background overseeing some major healthcare budgets from a finance side, but also from an operations side and a clinical side. And I've worked with many clinical leads who, as I say, really wanted to build that financial knowledge so that when they go into those decision-making conversations or where they go into budgeting, they know what questions to ask, and they know how to read the information and make sense out of it. So with that piece of it, I think finding those people who are curious about building that confidence and gaining that exposure to some of the financial principles, but also, as Nick said, not apply it in a business sense necessarily, but apply it in a healthcare setting. I think that's key. So I'm really excited to offer this course. I think it'll get you comfortable with budgeting and finance knowledge. And I think it's going to build that confidence and help learners progress in their careers. Outlined in these learning objectives, you're going to gain a foundational accounting skill. It's necessary to navigate those statements that you see, maybe make sense of some of the lingo or the information that gets presented in some of the managerial conversations that you might be getting yourself into. And again, it's all about building that confidence. You'll take what you learn from this course and be able to analyze budgets, look at variance analysis. You'll be able to understand what financial statements are telling you, and you're going to be able to contribute to those conversations. And I think I see this as a course to get you started, to potentially remove any uncertainties, as I say, going in, and then it's a good starting place for you then to learn within your own organization. Because while we're going to teach across standards that work in many settings, it's always that piece, and even part of the course will be helping you explore and learn more about your organization so you can be even more helpful in that space. So the learning objectives are laid out here, and they're also mapped out in the modules on the next slide. So as this slide suggests, the course is organized in a series of modules, each with a specific focus. So we're going to really walk you through that from introduction to healthcare accounting and financial statements, and get you into some of the more complex topics, which I find you're going to use more in your day-to-day operations. So these include things like understanding costs and looking towards developing your own budget and understanding the variances that come with that. What I find is that many people will understand the care horizon, and this will help mirror that up with some of the financial pieces. So as Maggie's displaying here, the goal will be to work you through, starting in January, have 2 synchronous sessions, as Nick described, and build up that kind of knowledge before we get to that final course assessment. Next slide. The assessment of this will be really straightforward. So as you go through each one of those modules, and you can see the percentages up on the screen, but as you walk through the modules, participating in those modules, completing the quizzes that go along the way to help build your knowledge, and then participating within the synchronized sessions that we'll hold and create space to, as Nick said, network as well as ask questions. That's going to be about 30% of the grade. And then we'll have a final assignment that'll work you through some real case study examples that are true to the healthcare system and allow you to apply that knowledge, which I think will really set you up for where you're going or how you move forward. All throughout, it's integrated. The examples, while not real numbers, are true examples to what I've seen and what others have seen in the healthcare setting. And then ultimately, the goal of the course is that we get you all through it. You've learned that core skill, and it takes 80% to get through a pass. And I think that we expect everyone will be able to make their way through that and build that knowledge up.
Great. Thank you, Nick. So I think just the summary as I listen in is this course is really about sort of taking some of the fear out of some of the ideas and tasks that people might have when they're given some accounting finance responsibilities. And this course is really going to be something that's going to be self-paced. It's going to give you sort of opportunities for knowledge checks along the way. So you're going to know if you're understanding and learning the material. And then when you get to have opportunities to ask questions on things you're not sure about, and then the final assignment is effectively just going through knowledge that you should have been able to accrue all the way through. So long as you've managed to go through each module, understand the knowledge questions within each of those, then the final assessment just applies that to a case study to enforce the sort of that learning is there. So the way this micro certificate is going to work, there's no sort of application. If you want to do the micro certificate, you just need to register. And I think Maggie's going to put a link in the chat for how you do this. So you register through Extended Learning. There are limited spots for that qualify for the Stronger BC Future Skills Grant. I believe all those spots are currently taken for this January start, and we're not sure whether those spots will be available in the future. And just say this is the first time we're running it, so we're going to limit the number of seats for this January. There's seats available right now, but if you're interested, you should really sign up and make sure you get one of those seats. As we say, the plan is to start this in January the 13th. When you start, it's going to be that self-paced start. So there'll be some announcements for you and the first module will be unlocked. And then we'll give you the dates and the times for the first synchronous session. That's going to be in February. And we are now open to sort of any questions.